Former Celtic Kyrie Irving finished with a game-high 39 points, and the Celtics' 115-114 win over the Brooklyn Nets. I am Josue Pavon alongside Bobby Manning, and here's what Kyrie had to say after the Celtics' win.
Where I'm from, I'm used to all these antics and people being close nearby. It's nothing new when I come into this building, what it's going to be like, but it's the same energy they have for me, and I'm going to have the same energy for them. And it's not every fan. I don't want to attack every fan, every Boston fan, but, when people start yelling pussy and bitch and fuck you and all this stuff, it's but so much you can take as a competitor. And, we're the ones expected to be docile and be humble and take a humble approach. Nah, fuck that. It's the playoffs. This is what it is. I know what to expect in here, and it's the same energy I'm giving back to them. It is what it is. I'm not really focused on it. It's fun. You know what I'm saying? And like again, it's where I'm from. I've dealt with so much. So coming in here, you relish it as a competitor. And this is, I'm gonna keep repeating myself when I say again, but this isn't my first time in TD Garden. So what you guys saw and what you guys think is as entertainment, or the fans think is entertainment, all is fair in competition. So if somebody's gonna call me out of my name, I'm gonna look at them straight in the eye and see if they really about it. Most of the time, they're not.
To that point, do you feel like the hostility that you get still?
Let's not focus on this. Like, ask me questions about the game. Like, it's not about the fans. The fans aren't playing.
From a basketball standpoint,
yeah.
Do you feel like the hostility you get?
There's no hostility, bro. It's basketball.
When you were flicking some people off, I'd say that's some hostility.
From what? What point? Are you guessing that that's hostility, or like hostility for me is like growing up?
Well, we've never seen that from you this season, where you are running down the floor flicking people off.
This is the first time you actually caught it, because it's a big time game. I respond in different ways. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to focus on that. If you want to ask me questions about the fans, go ask them. Go on the street and ask them questions. All right?
Bobby, he sounds bitter. I mean, I guess he has a reason to. Listen, I get it. It can't be easy to be booed against, and it's that constant, like that constant voice in your head every time you come into the city of Boston. But at what point can we say, Kyrie, like this is what happens in sports, right? Like, am I in the wrong to saying that, or do we reach a point where we have to say, all right, fans, loosen up a bit? But at the same time, when you have someone like Kyrie Irving flipping fans off and saying things that you wouldn't say to anybody, some people at least wouldn't say to anybody, I mean, it's got to be some sort of what I'm looking for, I guess, responsibility, right, for Kyrie Irving. What do you think?
Well, it's something that you can't control, and it's something no one can control. I mean, you go over the line like the bottle thrower did last year, right, and racial slurs, whatever you want to say, that's just like over that line. Mm-hmm. I think we can debate the line, but there's some things that clearly are over the line. That's something you can handle. You can pull out the person who's doing that, and you go from there. Just FUs and B word and all this different stuff. We can.
What was the second one? Wait, what?
But like.
Do you know what I mean by that, though, right? We're not going to say what he said, but, like, how many people, even if you can't stand them.
What he said.
Yeah. Right. Like, how many people would actually say that to somebody? And granted, it is a fan, but, again, I think there just has to be a level of accountability, I guess what I'm trying to say.
It's just startling to see a guy caught up with it and interacting the ways he did, the middle fingers behind the head. That was shocking to see. I know we saw him after the three in the left corner. Yeah. Looked like he was saying something to fans, but he was flashing a middle finger. He's going to come out of this game with, like, 3 fines at least. The middle fingers, the stuff he said in the hallway there to the fans that were yelling at him. It was just a mess of a performance from him in terms of keeping his composure. And he was the guy coming into this that said, I want to put this behind me. Mm-hmm. I want the fans to, get over it as well. Well, this is something that's going to fire it up again. Pointing middle fingers at the crowd. Everyone's going to see it on social media. I think it's unfortunate because a lot of this stuff gets drummed up. Guys set players up to have those moments where they respond on social media. That blows up, and then it's just a cycle from there. I do think there's a conversation to be had about fan behavior and just how someone would talk to a player on the court versus how they would in real life. We all remember Jusuf Nurkic chucking the phone, which I thought was awesome. But at the same time, from Irving's perspective, in a playoff series, Steve Nash was asked before the game, are you worried about Irving with the crowd? And he said, not at all. Well, you see how he did with it tonight.
That's a good point.
A little more concerned.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, Bobby, because at the end of the day, I also think it's him motivating himself, right? Like, I don't see Kyrie as the type of person who says, like, if I keep quiet, I'm going to have a better performance. I think it's the opposite. I think when he's uncomfortable and someone's getting at him, he's got to say his choice words to somebody else. He's using that as fuel. And granted, it did work in the second half. At least that one guy who he said it to at halftime, he came back out here, kept it going. He made that big three, back-to-back three-pointers. It seems like it fuels him. But you have to find somewhere in the middle here, right? You can't just keep barking back and forth. This ongoing thing between him and the fans. I mean, is that or is that it? Is that just the way it's going to be throughout this entire series?
Well, it's going to ensure that it continues. Absolutely. I mean, it's a tit for tat. You respond, they're going to respond. Like, everybody knows what's going on, especially in a city like this. No one's going to miss it, his interactions with the fans here. It's going to be the conversation the next few days. And frankly, I don't relate it to his play. I thought he played outstanding. Maybe it fired him up a little bit and jolted his energy there. But I don't relate shot making and guys yelling at him. In fact, I think it takes away from him. We saw him struggle here last time he played and, talking about the fans afterward. And really, I think of what Jason Tatum said at practice a couple of days ago in terms of a conversation he had with Kyrie. Kyrie having regrets, wish he could handle some things differently here. He didn't get into details, but makes me think Kyrie's thinking about this. It's in his head.
What do you think the one regret is, though, if you had to guess? My guess is that he's like, Jason, I wish I'd never told those freaking people that I would come back and play. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. The season hadn't even started yet. I didn't know what I was in for, so to speak. I think if I had to guess, that's a big chunk of it. And also the way he maybe down-talked them to the media. Maybe that's another thing to it. But again, I'm completely guessing here.
Well, he's a free agent this summer. Was there regret leaving Boston? Maybe. I mean, he sees the situation here. He sees how it's gone in Brooklyn. He obviously got that vaccine mandate thrown against him in Brooklyn. Again, we're all just guessing here. But
are you saying what I think you're saying, Bobby? Are you saying that he's trying to jump ship and he would actually consider coming back?
No, I don't think he would come back here ever. But, he looks at the situation here maybe and says, all right, maybe those young guys would have grown if I stayed there. Maybe we would have dug themselves out of that. I mean, Brooklyn's going to be his home now. I actually do believe him. I know everyone laughed when he said he's staying there, but him and KD, they have a relationship that I think is going to carry forward into the future there. But you see the situation around them. It's bad. And
I think, now I get it. You're saying that he probably didn't think they were as talented as they are, so to speak. Maybe not just Tatum, but the rest of them.
Yeah, and they went to form a super team with the Nets, and it didn't work out the way they thought. Yeah. It wasn't going to come together as easily as it looked when it was a big three there. And, I know the plan originally was just Durant and Irving. And then Harden gets thrown in the mix, and it's just been a spiral ever since for that group. And who knows where it's going to go if they lose this series. You might lose Irving, changes around the edges, coaching staff. There's a lot of uncertainty there right now. So you look at this, if you're a Nets fan and you're worried about Kyrie's interaction with the fans, you're worried about the defense, and you're worried about a lot of the just dysfunction around this team this year. And that's why I wanted the Celtics to play the Nets, frankly, in this series. Like, you look at the offensive talent, you look at the two stars, but then you just look at all the mishaps that they've had this year.
Yeah, I mean, the Celtics certainly took advantage down the stretch as they won Game 1 here at TD Garden, 115-114. We'll be back Wednesday night for Game 2. And in the meantime, head over to CLNSmedia.com for our continuous Celtics coverage. Also follow Celtics All Access on YouTube and, of course, CLNS Media at YouTube. I will be back here alongside Bobby Wednesday night, Game 2, Celtics-Nets. The Celtics looking to stretch this thing out to 2-0, and the Brooklyn Nets are trying to make this a best-of-5 series. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be back here Wednesday night.